Hey, everybody. So, I'm sure you've all been wondering over the course of the last several episodes. And here it is. Here we are now finally caught up in the timeline with the Jelly Special. Alright. We're not going to go look for Jelly 2 today. That's not the deal. The deal is I am finally going to put a building around the Moss Farm. And it is this big. And I have been busily getting terracotta, green terracotta, lime green terracotta, stone bricks, mossy cobble, and mossy stone bricks, since, I mean, this is a moss farm. Some wood bits here and there, leftover stuff from building the last building over there. I also have cyan terracotta, which is going to be used over on a different build. I'm probably thinking it's going to be part of the stone, or not the, I don't know, should I go stonemasons or should I go with blacksmiths? I kind of feel like blacksmiths I could build with blackstone and maybe some coal blocks to have a little contrast. I think we might go that route. So I think the cyan terracotta will go for the masons. Anyways, no more distraction. We are going to lay out our foundation stones right now. I don't need that anymore. I already took away all the wool. So, here we go. All right, that definitely gives us a nice weathered look here. The mix of the mossy cobble tossed in with a little bit of the mossy stone brick. I'm going to swap these ones. I think that's going to be a regular, and that is going to be that mossy cobble, because I noticed that I was getting a little bit too much patterny going zoop and zoop. And this one might turn also into a mossy cobble. Yeah, I can get down with that. Okay, so we've got our base layer and our door frame picked out. And I've decided we might make it a 2-wide door here. We might just make it a 2-wide door, put some gray carpet down there to keep the mobs out. That is a good old-fashioned trick. Let me grab some light gray carpet. Well, light gray wool, let me rephrase that. And we'll turn that into light gray carpet. There we go. Looks almost like stone, but mobs don't like to cross it. Neither do villagers. So it is a good way. The double carpet is definitely a good way to... It's not going to ensure it. I mean, if they really want to, they can. Just like they're not supposed to cross rail carts. But that doesn't always stop them. I mean, look at my mason villagers over there. They've been converted several times, and they're on tracks. So, okay. So now we're going to figure out are the corner posts, they're not actually going to be much taller than this just because of the fact that this stuff is here. And if we go right here, we're at daylight. Oh, no, not quite. We actually have a little bit of room to work with here. So I might knock that back just a hair so I have a little bit more height on this level here. That one is for sure a surface block. So let's see what we get right here. Okay, that might give us a little bit more room on our walls here, because I definitely want to figure out exactly what it is we feel like doing here for... I definitely want to use the terracotta. Do I want to use the dark green or the lime green? Let's put them both next to the mossy stones. Let's see which one we like better with them. I have a feeling it's going to be that one. Or is that just... Oh... You know, I'm not quite sure. Alright, let's pull out the wood chest here. So, we can go like that, like that. Definitely don't think it's going to be the birch. So let's see. What do we like? Well, see, the jungle wood has a little bit of that green in there. So I could use the jungle logs for a little bit of framing. And then up here... Okay, I can't do an inset. I mean, I can always make this go out one more row of blocks so I can do a slight inset. I mean, there's nothing stopping me. I mean, I haven't built anything else here yet. So I literally have no reason that I can't do it that way. The only problem is this way. I can't do an inset this way. Okay, I think we go jungle woods on the corners. We're only going to go up 2 blocks. And then we're going to frame it with lime. I think we're actually going to use both. Actually, we're going to use both. I think that is actually the plan. So let's get up here. All right, we gotta decide which one we like better for. I think I'm gonna go with the lime. I think I am indeed going to go with the lime and stick with that for this build. I think trying to do... Maybe if I did a little bit of lime green concrete powder and did that for a little bit of my highlights, because I don't think we're going to end up seeing much of the highlight color. Alright, we're going to pop over real quick to my dye box, which is over here by the shepherds, where all the looms are going to be. Oh, I have some lime green dye right there. And we haven't actually made any concrete yet in this world. I actually don't use a whole lot of concrete itself because I'm not a huge fan of the textureless function of it. It's just so very, you know? But if we make some concrete powder, lime concrete powder, that was probably more than I needed. I probably could have done half of it, but oh well. Okay. So if I take a couple of these out, yeah, see, that's just too much. That is for sure. That's the problem with the concrete. It is just the stark difference in colors is just too much. All right, well then let's try green concrete powder, because I definitely feel the need to do a little bit of texturing on this. Oh yeah, that looks, yes. So that's going to be different enough from the moss block that I want to use for the ceiling that I think that we could definitely, yeah, see, there's just enough highlight colors in there to make it, if the wall was going to be slightly taller, it would be easier to texture this in clumps rather than just little sporadic spots here and there. And I like that better, but there's just not as much room available when you're doing this short of a wall. But I'm definitely liking that texture way better than just straight up. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're going to start with that. Ooh, that one looks really good over top of that mossy cobble there. This was definitely the right choice. I like this. Yep, for sure. That was definitely the way I wanted to go with that. Okay, so what I want to do next is, this is going to be a bit... I gotta find... I think we'll wait and see what I come down with on... Because I definitely don't want the jungle wood. I want the jungle logs. We'll figure out what accent I want to go with that very shortly here, because I'm going to need to figure it out for the trim on the roof. That is definitely something that I need to get figured out now, because it's going to be a little bit of a sloping up to a flat roof with a glass roof on it and shroom lights. So the building's going to stay lit, and we're not going to have to worry about any mob spawns. Inside, not really worried about anyways, but I can lose the torch spam on the floor kind of deal, you know? Okay, let's see what she looks like. Yeah, I like that color combination. So now what we have to figure out is what I want to do on the corners. Actually, I'm going to grab some moss blocks real quick. Okay, so this is the general idea behind the roof that I want to use. So it's going to be just kind of a little peaky, you know, nothing too fancy, but it's going to go up at this angle all the way around, and it's just going to be flat and open at the top. So the question is do I want to try and put some kind of accent block in there? And I don't know, I mean, I kind of do. We need to go with the gold standard here. Okay, that definitely looks like a thing. So yeah, so if I take, and instead of making that angle more exaggerated, and I just fill in these corners, and I just put spruce trap doors on all of it. Yeah, I could get down with that, and then I could put frog lights in behind the trap doors, actually. Yeah, I need to do a little bit of something to pull focus a little bit. It's just so flat. The moss is going to have... Well, let me get the whole roof done, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do from there, because I think we're going to need to make some changes to the roof materials. I want to leave the moss on there. It's a little too close to the green concrete powder, but I like the green concrete powder in there. I like it better with the lime terracotta than I think I will the moss in there. So let's think about it for a little bit. I am going to build out the rest of this roof, and then we'll go from there with our figuring out how to detail this. Welcome back to the Roof of the Nether. So after my little jelly escapade and the number of problems I've been having with this portal not bringing me back to the inside of my mountain randomly, I have decided to move it. This is directly above the one that's below me here in the regular Nether. I am not... This is so close. This is... I mean, I don't understand why it matters. It shouldn't matter that much, but apparently it does. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to light this portal. And we're also going to go ahead and tear this one down. Partially because I need the buttons that are on top of it to spawn-proof it. Alright, let's give this one a whirl and see if we come out where we think we're going to, or if it's going to send us on another little wild goose chase. Okay, didn't like it for a second, but see if it gets smoother with use here. Right. So far, so gravy. Okay. Well, we're good so far. Alright, a couple other little things that I have done. So I play in this world on a private server. The reason for that, instead of just playing in a single-player world, is it allows me to have my cam account on here without turning on the LAN, turning on the cheats. It, keeps it vanilla, keeps it, no cheats. The reason I use the cam account is I do all this on one PC. So I'm recording, I'm playing the game. Typically I have background music going. And then when I want to do the replay mod, for some reason, it locks up on me on saving replay mod files. I've lost quite a few of my time lapses, like when I was building that, and some of the other more recent ones, it just has they've just crashed. But if I use the cam account in spectator mode to record the replays, then it for some reason saves them just fine. So it's a lot easier on the computer to be running the server and running 2 accounts at the same time than it is to turn on the LAN and have the camera account on the LAN. Don't ask me why. The other thing that I do with that is I also, if I'm off, because the practical limit on my dark spawner is pretty much that bed right there, maybe a little bit closer. It's actually, I think, on this side of the beacon there is the best spot to stand. So sometimes when I was working way over here and nothing else is loaded over there, I turn the camera count on and leave the cam account sitting over here in creative, because I don't want mobs to attack it or anything like that. And so what I do is I turn that on just to keep this loaded and keep this AFKing while I'm doing something else. Or like when I was in the nether doing all that nether building, I spent a lot of time with the cam account over here running the dark spawner, because it takes a lot of gunpowder to constantly be doing rockets and flying around in a giant entire perimeter, and so I needed to have a way to run that farm even when I'm not physically present. So thus the cam account, thus the server. Long-winded explanation. Notice how we can now see across to the other side. So even though in my video settings I had the chunks turned up, nothing was changing. Nothing was changing. It was still not loading. The server render distance and the server simulation distance were set up to only 10 chunks. So that is why I was not having my iron farm loaded while I was over here, or the wheat farm loaded, or any of a dozen other things weren't loaded because of simulation distance. Same with the render distance. It didn't matter what I did in my settings. It was capped by the server. Also, along with that, the resource packs and the data packs. I can load them in just fine in the game. It still launches the game, it still plays, everything's good. And when I go into my creative test world, that's a copy of this one that is just on a single player world, because it's just a creative copy that I test stuff on. Those work just fine. The Enderman griefing, all that stuff. It was not set up in the server properties to allow those data packs to function. So that was where my big issue is. So I'm pretty sure I have solved the Enderman griefing issue finally. Now I've been hanging around, just chilling, not doing anything. I cleaned up all the visible dirt and grass and gravel that I could see, and it's been I've been talking to you for almost 10 minutes now, and nothing's popped up. I don't see a single Enderman. And I was on the server for probably good 15 or 20 minutes before that, just kind of running around, AFKing a little bit, and I don't see any new Enderman griefing. So I think we might have finally solved that issue. Fix another portal coordinates, fix the Enderman griefing, and fix the fact that now only one player needs to sleep on the server, even if the other one's sitting over here AFK. I think. That part I still have to test out. I still have to go over and double check that. I haven't turned the cam account on, but so far so good. We're not having any issues with the portal. I think we got some of the major issues that we've been having on this world solved. We will keep an eye on it and let you know how it goes as we are moving along. And there we go. Turned out pretty okay. I don't think I'm done with the detailing, but I think a lot of it is going to end up waiting until the builds around it, because this is going to be a garden right here. So I'm definitely thinking I'm not going to over detail this until I see what the garden ends up looking like, but I for sure want to add something in here, be it a window, be it a bench with glowberry vines going over top of it. That is a thought that has occurred to me, kind of like an arbor. I'm thinking that's a really fun idea, the arbor idea. Other than that, I mean, I like the doorway. This is I remembered this trick. I was rewatching some old Hermitcraft videos, and I saw this in one of Grian's. It's a nice little effect. It looks like, you know, there's an actual fixture, and all it is literally just item frames and a block of your choice. You place the lantern, place the item frame, place the block, and I mean, you can rotate them if you want. That actually might look a little bit better even. The doorway is super simple. I didn't want to go overboard on these at all. I like the little stone arch. Haven't decided if I like that better or if I want to do wood all the way around these little flower pots, but I kind of like the little stone arch standing out a little bit. You know, azalea and moss make a great shrubbery, little topiary. And we'll see if I stick with the flowering azalea down here, or if I go for a pot, or like I say, it all depends on what I do with these buildings over here and the gardens and the pathway between them. Like, obviously, now that I made this building a little bit bigger, once I realized that the moss farm was too small, and I made it bigger, this whole building's going to have to shove over, which means that the fountain's probably going to have to shove over. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what I end up with on these. But for now, I think I'm pretty happy with it. I think I am pretty happy with it. We're definitely going to stick with the green and lime green palette over here. Maybe mixing in a little bit of copper or yellow for the glass. I haven't really decided yet. We can definitely see what we come up with. I definitely know that I want to have them a little less flat featured than these walls ended up being. That one I kind of did to myself with the strictures of how close I built it around the moss farm and how close I built it to this wall. So this wall needs to get stone over it just to keep everything kosher with everything else inside the cave here. So, but you don't need to watch me do that. That'll just be stone. Nothing fancy. But yeah, I like the stained glass roof. I mean, it definitely is a different style of roof. If I had a little bit more room, I would have liked to have it swoop just a touch more, but I like the way it turned out, and I like the not overthinking it. There's a definite foundation, there's a definite layer between the walls and the roof, even though they're the same generalized color. I'm not sure that was the best choice overall, but again, I'm trying not to overthink stuff, and I'm trying to just play around. I don't build with a lot of colors. I build with a lot of stone. I build with a lot of wood. I build with a lot of, you know, brick and packed mud. I really like those blocks, but I'm trying to expand my horizons and learn how to build different stuff and build it a little better. Maybe this is an example of building better. I mean, that's kind of all in your opinion, and you're welcome to have your opinion. I like it. I think it's a better example of experimenting with color than I have used in the past. I do agree that they are a little too close in color. All of my blocks are kind of similar color, and I wish that there was something that I could see that could, you know, make a good contrast. I also think it has a lot to do with how small the building is. If I try this over, say, here, or here, where I have a little more room to go up, some way to make the walls a larger canvas, I think finding a different way to do this would be ideal. I don't think I'm going to do any more moss roofs. I think that was very much a thing for this one. Actually, there is one thing that I did want to try. I don't know if I'm going to like it. I know it's a real popular thing to do with these moss roofs, and that is to bone meal it and give it a little bit of that Don't want the azalea on there. That much I know for sure. I like these trapdoors for being able to navigate this roof really easily. So if I do one there... There... Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I'd like that. I definitely like that. That made it more obvious that it's, you know, it's not the same blocks that are in the walls. And there's just enough contrast in the colors to do exactly what I was hoping it would do. So yeah, I'm definitely going to leave that. That is, I mean, you can't identify that as the moss farm any more clearly. That is the moss farm. And like I say, for sure, I'm going to spend some time putting in another window or two on this end for sure. We'll see about the other end. The other end might end up in an alley, and there might be... Maybe the other end has the window. Maybe this end has the nice bench looking over the gardens and the arbor above it. I think I like that idea. I think I'm going to play around with it and see what I come up with. See if any of it really sticks for me. But yeah. We're going to move on from there, and I think I'm going to play around with some buildings here. I think I've got enough building in for myself for this episode. I got 2 new buildings here. We had to pause to go get our Jellycat, which wasn't in this episode, but, you know, I did it in between builds here, and in between the flower farms and the dye farms and the making all of the different terracottas and the different everything. So I think we are gonna call it good here for this episode. I'm gonna figure out what colors and kind of some build stuff I want to do in the background on these next couple of buildings, because I would like to start getting some villagers over here and start having something besides just these wonderful wool outlines. So I'm going to start here, the diagonal building. We're going to try. I've only tried diagonal building one time. It did not go well. I got very frustrated with it and gave up. I'm going to make an honest attempt at doing diagonal builds over here so that it's not just such a straight gridlock all the time every time I try to do something like this. You know, I can make rectangles, I can make L shapes, you can make circles and T shapes and all this kind of stuff. The diagonal builds are what's going to get me. As a matter of fact, as horrible as it sounds, I'm actually thinking about turning this one into a 2-block diagonal. We'll see how brave I get once I get over here and once I decide what the color palette is going to be for over here. A lot of times I stick with like brick and quartz and sandstone for like libraries. I don't know why, that just always sticks with me. We'll see what I end up with over here on that. That one's I'm probably gonna have to grind for that for a little while. All right, so we're gonna call it quits right here, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Thanks for sticking with me through my trials and tribulations as I try to teach myself to build a little better. You know, I kind of think I like that one. I really think that I think that one's going to grow on me. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.